What's going on, guys? We're about to check out a clip of what's his name? Trash. TYT nepotism. Loser. We're looking at Hasan Piker, man. He's going to be speaking on Tim Pool as usual. I don't want to hear no complaints about me talking about Hasan. There's a nigga talk about Tim Pool every day, okay? Every day. Let's check this video out, make some jokes, have some fun. Hit the like button, share the video as well, and drop some comments, man. If you rock with me, put FANG in the comment section. Put it in every video you watch of mine. If you can, put it as many times as you like. So I don't care if you put it 20 times, man. That's on you. That's up to you. That's what you want to do. It's on you.
You called that a hoax. Have you retracted that statement?
See, you don't know what I actually said, because I didn't say what you're describing.
You did. I just watched it last night.
Every single time, the main purpose of the conversation is what are the clippable moments where we can make our opponent say something he doesn't actually mean.
Like,
all right, we got to watch this. Oh, hell
clarify that, please.
Jesse, I just want to make something clear. I don't care what kind of person you are. I don't care what your belief system is. None of that is relevant.
I don't
the
like
reason why I think you are toxic and
the way that Hasan just eat on stream, I need to, what I got to get? I got to get like a piece for my mic so y'all don't hear that. I did hear that if you get like some kind of foam over it. I got one of those big joints that you can put foam over, but it looks wonky, so I don't want to do it when I'm recording my face. But anyway, I digress. This dude be tearing food up. Every video I see of this man, he tearing some kind of food up.
And at best, extremely unhelpful in this area is that you distort the importance of this issue and are so fervent at
coming to get him,
pointing out this minutia.
He got owned already for too hard by Sam.
Were the sirens coming from his house or Sam's? I'm not going to pause
in the face of what is actually happening on the ground.
Hey, just because we have limited time, could we just keep this to stuff I've written that you have?
No, no, because it's not even that there's a specific thing that I take issue with, because that in some ways is exactly indicative of the same problem. It's like, I know that you feel that you are just writing stuff that you think is accurate, very technically accurate. When Matt said your lies were cited by Republican attorney generals for whatever reason, when we did this email exchange and you put...
I bet I kicked the mic. Let me know if my audio is messed up. I'm always worried about that. But Sam Cedar is such a snake, bro. I really don't like him, especially after that Steven Crowder situation.
Out a little clip of it. My issue with you, what you do, okay, is best summed up in this analogy. And again, this is an analogy that's extreme, but it makes the case, is that back in 2004, there was a writer who wanted to argue, and you remember what was happening in 2004, 2005 in Iraq. Maybe it was before your time, I'm not sure. Who wanted to argue that there is nuance in the context of the torture debate. And by, sort of showing that within the context of the torture debate, there were nuanced instances where the idea of saying that torture is bad is inaccurate because there were nuanced instances where that was okay. And I think the headline was "In Defense of Torture." And it was published on...
Another Samuel wrote that famously. Samuel Harris, of course. God, I love Sam Cedar so much.
On the Huffington Post at a time where what
makes sense. Snakes flock together. What are you eating? A hot dog? Never mind. I ain't even gonna try to figure out what he eating. Maybe I'm just getting hungry my damn self. But yeah, man, of course you like Sam Cedar, man. You're both snakes.
Completely grotesque.
Yes, I'm sure I use this example because I knew you would think it was grotesque. But why is it grotesque? Because this writer claimed that, like, look, I don't
want to talk, I'm not trying to talk over you, but can you just give me something to latch onto, a problem you have with my work, not with the work of someone else?
I'm explaining it to you. You don't want to engage in it, I will explain it to you. The reason why it's the reason why it's grotesque to me in that instance is because... I don't even know who
he's speaking to, but you're having the conversation, which means he's engaging, right? It's just that maybe that you're not getting to the point, per se.
It's one thing to sort of like create a thought experiment where you could argue there are instances where torture is a legitimate choice, but it is another to do it.
Torture is not a legitimate, but torture.
I'm not saying that you are. I'm not saying that you are, Jesse. In fact, Jesse, I am using torture as an example so that you will understand my problem with your writing. I know that you think torture is abhorrent. That's why I'm using this as an example. There is no doubt in my mind
don't you use an
you
example
agree
of
with
my
me
actual
totally
work?
on this perspective of torture. But let me finish
But
so
why
I can
don't you
explain
use
to you.
my actual work.
I'm going to.
My work.
Okay.
Okay, you'll get to it, I guess.
I will. I promise.
Why don't people ever comprehend how analogies work? He's trying to drive home the point instead of arguing on the minutia of like.
It's, to be honest, I get it, right? If you're making an analogy with me, I make a lot of analogies. I try to make it extremely short though. I don't extend an analogy to where I'm sitting here debating that analogy for like 10 minutes or so. Because if I was the other person, I would say, okay, we kind of getting off of what you're talking about. How about you just talk about what the hell I've done? Because that could be extreme in comparison to what the hell his writing is speaking on, right? And I don't know per se, but I can understand the frustration when it's like, hey, yo, my man, can we talk about my writing? If you got a problem with my writing, why are you talking about other people's philosophies and other people's writing or whatever? That has nothing to do with me per se, right? But I also do understand analogies. But my man, Sam, come on, my man, come on. You got to speed that up. Like you taking a long time, right? And it's almost as if you're insinuating that the other person is stupid because they don't want to, like, I have to use this analogy to explain it to you because you don't understand. If I was to just directly tell you my problem, how about you directly tell them the problem?
Specific writings related to trans research that he's supposedly revealing. I know what he's going to say. And if you're not a dumbass, you should have figured it out as well. If you're Jesse Singal, he's saying that at a time when like actual torture is happening, creating hypothetical scenarios in which like torture could be justifiable is gruesome. At a time when there is real trans panic and a metric ton of anti-trans legislation passing that is truly harming trans people, not just children, adults as well. Writing articles claiming that you covering the trans issue from an objective scientific perspective when that is not the case is contributing to the harm that trans people are experiencing.
No, I totally understand Jesse's problem now of why he is upset or doesn't like this analogy. What? Because he's speaking against certain things, and I want to state that I have no hate or disdain for the alphabet community at all. But because he's speaking about certain things and his opinions through articles, you're comparing that to being in support of torture? Yeah, no, you're not cooking with that. You're not cooking with that, Sam. I don't care how much this dude Hasan try to nut hug. You're not cooking with that, my nigga. What are you talking about? Debate the actual topic, bro.
Experiencing, especially when Republican attorneys general use your writings as a way to claim, look, liberals are on our side as well. This is a bipartisan issue.
In promoting that, in that instance, in a moment when torture is on the front pages of the news, regardless of whether there was merit to the philosophical argument about the value of torture, which I would agree, and I'm convinced that you would think is abhorrent, period. What that article does is it gives cover for people who were promoting torture in places outside of Huffington Post. The writer is basically positing that they have no impact.
By the way, this is why I love
on
Sam.
This public
partially because like we are in agreement on a lot of issues almost down to a T.
Because I believe that if you are writing in this manner and you are promoting ideas in this manner in public, then you must take responsibility not just for the specific content as the
this nigga saved him. We're gonna watch the video. I want to know what the context, but Tim Pool's section is all the way at the end of the video.
But its impact and how it's heard and how it's used in a political struggle that is going on. And I suggest that when you
is this Tim Pool that he's speaking to, nigga? Is this what he's speaking to? Is he speaking to Tim Pool right now? No, that's Jesse. So what is
AGs who cited my material in the Atlantic did so and twisted it in a way that it meant something different than it did. That at the very least, you would realize that you are being used as a means to attack trans people and to attack.
But that's why 4 days. But that's why 4 days after they put that brief out, I did a Substack post saying lying about my work.
I'm glad that you did a Substack post. In fact, that same torture guy has a whole page on his, at that time, I think it was Medium.
Yeah. He also clarified his comments that he wrote on the Huffington Post
as to why this is being misinterpreted. But do you know how many people saw the HuffPost thing versus saw that Medium thing? This is what we call in sales a funnel. I don't know why I say we, because I'm not in sales, but I read enough about it.
You're saying that a lot of people saw this fairly obscure brief over a technical aspect of Affordable Care Act enforcement. That's your argument. that was like a viral Huffington Post article.
Are you suggesting in any way, Jesse, that your work hasn't been cited over and over again by people saying like, even the liberal Jesse Singal says that there's something problem here?
I think you're a little bit trying to talk over me because I'm making a very basic point here.
Chatters who are confused. Jesse Singal is a massive anti-trans journalist who always does the just asking questions type of shit that cut anti-trans propaganda. And that propaganda is, of course, incredibly well received by a broader audience.
Shut up. If he's giving his opinion, so what? And if people are giving opinions based on his opinion, so what? Telling people you can't give those opinions or write whatever articles you want to write because people on the opposite side are going to use you as a talking point. Nigga, shut up. I'm not trying to hear all of that. This is what Sam Cedar's crying about.
Trans folks who are either self-proclaimed liberals or psychotic Republicans then literally use it as a justification to say, look, even liberals are on board with this kind of shit. They are also asking questions and they think it's scary. In an identical capacity to the role that Sam Harris played, which Sam Cedar here is perfectly pointing to, in the liberal justifications for all of the psychotic things that we did when we were pursuing the war on terror.
Okay, go ahead.
Responder, you're not.
You have the floor.
Okay. I emailed you. I pointed out that this brief said...
No, you did not use the words brief. And this is what you do. This is my experience of you. You keep saying that people misunderstand me. And Sam said he was going to do this and this and that. And you're the one who creates the confusion. I don't know if you do it on purpose or if you do it because you're trying to obscure some agenda. I don't know. I don't care.
I think it's...
Apologize. I think maybe my neighbor's kids are playing with like a toy and throwing it against the wall. Our floors are like really, what do you call it? Not sound absorbent. So it's probably not their fault.
Or that I sort of cleared this up 4 years ago, but none of you guys have read that post, and you keep referring to it. And that's
yeah,
I'm just trying to
I don't care about that post.
30 seconds. No, I know you don't care about it, but I'm just trying to get 30 seconds to explain what happened, which you can choose not to grant me that 30 seconds, but just...
I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Okay. They cited my work to say that gender medicine doesn't help trans adults. My work described that gender medicine as life-saving, and it quoted multiple trans adults who found it life-saving. So you can't read my article.
How late in the piece, Jesse? Have you heard of the principle of journalism where essentially you're supposed to...
Emma.
No. How late into the piece?
You literally just said y'all was going to give him 30 seconds, bro. What? They can't even give him the 30? Well, I'm not going to talk, but then my co-host will interrupt you 1,000 times now. What kind of tag team-ish? I thought it was one-on-one. People in Hasan chat were saying one-on-one. No, this is two-on-one.
How late into the piece, Jesse?
Jesse, I'm looking at this section that you sent me about, like, for sure, trans-affirming care, this paragraph. There's 3,500 words in front of it, the section that you clipped for me.
Yeah, so you would think that the more obvious point, just basic rules of journalism, I know you're a journalist. No.
Was it 3,500 words in, or was it...
He's just doing a classic journalistic practice called burying the lead, guys. I don't understand. You usually bury the lead 3,500 words in your article, and then it's fine. And then everyone is supposed to understand not necessarily the point that you're trying to make, trying to get across, but instead the point that, that you can always use as a saving grace for yourself if you want to maintain the veneer that you are a liberal at the end of the day.
At the top of the piece.
Yeah, which part?
It was 3,500 words into a 12,000 word piece. So it was near the top.
It was in the top 25% of a 12,000 word piece. Okay.
Right. As opposed to, Jesse, have you not in your work
outside of 25%
emphasize certain specific cases that are outside of the trend of the overwhelming data that shows that gender affirming care for youth is effective and helps reduce suicidal ideation and is important, and that the sister myth essentially is a small edge case? Have you not focused on that a disproportionate amount versus the overwhelming other elements of data that I just described?
Well, he's going to fucking say that that's not the case, because he's going to say that it's not a myth and that he's a journalist, and then his job is to show the hidden truth.
Oh, but what you just said isn't true. There is an overwhelming evidence.
There is. I'm looking. Okay, have you read the Journal of Pediatrics and their clear results on this front, where they looked at children
you're talking about a Jack Turbin paper. I've written two. You're talking about Christina Olsen's paper, not Jack Turbin's paper. I apologize. Christina Olsen's paper took a group of kids who transitioned early, social transition.
Yep.
She found that 93% of them 5 years in were still in that.
Once again, I have no hate or disdain for the alphabet community in any way, shape, or form. I've seen people get mad when I say that. What you gonna do about it? I would just make it clear, nigga. I don't have any hate or disdain for the alphabet community, whatever.
A socially transitioned role, but none of them were diagnosed with gender dysphoria. So you can't compare that to the question I'm interested in, which is whether these treatments help alleviate gender dysphoria, because we don't know if the kids in Olson's sample had gender dysphoria.
You're using outdated terminology to talk about children who are already socially transitioning and showing that that is effective and they're consistent after that 5-year period in their transition.
This is just an objective matter of fact. What you just said,
this is pedantic. Do you believe that it is. Do you believe that gender affirming care works and is overwhelmingly effective with children? Do you believe it?
I am with the 5 European countries who have looked into this question closely, and all of them are like, we don't know yet. We need more data. So no, it's not.
Okay. Dude, you know what? I do prefer Republicans to this kind of shit. Actually, I do. Because at least Republicans are honest about their lack of interest in having like a conversation. They're just like, I don't care about your point. Like trans people are devils, they're demons, they're perverts, they're morally degenerate. I hate this type of
street. All people within whatever group, Republicans, conservatives, as like a monolith
of liberalism, where like you constantly have to act like your interlocutor is interested in having a genuine conversation. And then 90% of the conversation revolves around how you've misunderstood them, how they are simply asking questions, simply curious about the issue at hand, simply covering objective facts from the side that is unheard and unrepresented. And when pushed in to a corner, immediately they go, well, I'm siding with the countries and also saying that I don't know what to do. Jordan Peterson.
Why does he sound so soft? Why everything sound like just like he bitching? Like, yo, fam, get to the damn Tim Poop. Are we at this far yet? We almost there.
Very famously used to do this before he just dropped that fucking notion that he is like actually a centrist or a liberal. It's debate purgatory that really, really frustrates me here. I hate it. I hate it so much. Just say what you fucking mean, man. Say what you fucking mean. And it's always those people who refuse to say what they fucking mean because they think it's an advantageous position in this supposedly quote unquote intellectual conversation where they're supposed to arrive at the truth that turn around.
I think what he's speaking more so on is you won't say what I want you to say so I can hate you. Sometimes people don't actually want to say the things that you are expecting them to say. You're not a mind reader. You don't actually know. You don't know. I don't think you know anything just in general, but yeah, you don't know.
And desperately try to move your words that you use very clearly in a direction that they are not in. Every single time I have conversations with debate lords who do this professionally. Okay. I'm not just talking about like media people who engage in debates or whatever. Every single time, the main purpose of the conversation is what are the clippable moments where we can make our opponent say something he doesn't actually mean.
The 10-year-old who got an abortion, who was raped, you call that a hoax. Have you retracted that statement?
See, you don't know what actually said. Because I didn't say what you're describing.
You did. I just watched it last night.
Right. And so what I said was the fact that they politicized this to win a political point is the hoax, not that the child was abused.
How does that constitute a hoax, Tim?
The little girl would not have been able to get the services she needed because there's no way she could handle this pregnancy. It's sad that the life of the baby will be terminated, but probably would be considered to be not viable anyway. Now, look, there's a middle ground here, and I think Daily Mail hits on it.
There's a middle ground in this conversation about a 10-year-old rape victim getting an abortion.
There's no guarantee she would have gotten the services, but hold on there a minute. Why didn't the left report the rape? Why didn't they go in Ohio to abortion services, Planned Parenthood? Why didn't they say, we want a medical exception for this and make it a pressing public policy issue that they would have won on? I think the issue is the reason it played out the way it did, the reason it was not reported.
Like, I don't know enough about this one clip in particular, right? He's probably adding no context for sure, but I feel like I need to look more into this actual case that they're speaking on.
Is that the left would have lost. I will say this. This one's not a clear-cut hoax in the sense that someone made up a fake story. It's a hoax in the manufacture of the story to a certain degree. It is possible. The little girl would have went to the hospital and they would have said, no, you're carrying this baby. We won't do it. And the government would have said no. But I really, really doubt it. You think anyone in politics in Ohio is going to accept a 10-year-old rape victim being forced to carry a baby? That is just so far beyond reproach. You can already see when the story was presumed to be false.
Hasan's being mad disingenuous. I get exactly what he's saying now. He's saying it's a hoax to where if you were to think that they would force that kid to have that baby after what was done to them, that would be a hoax. I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't even think that that's for real. Like, what? I don't think they would do that. I would be highly surprised and disgusted if that's a real thing. I don't think that you could force the kid to have to. No, hell no. No.
False. David Yost says, well, you don't have to leave. We would take care of this.
The left has done all of this.
But I get what Tim Pool is saying. He's saying that like by spreading that story, it's like on some you kind of rage baiting and almost trying to influence society to go on one side of position when it comes to abortions because of this, right? And if this is not true, and if in that state and the government would not do that, then yes, I get what he's saying. I wouldn't have used the word hoaxed. I would have probably just used propaganda or something along those lines.
Stuff exclusively so they could get this
what you're saying, though.
Story out there to make Ohio look bad. Mission accomplished. We did it, folks. That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Powerful smack in the face of what was happening with these bills, with these heartbeat bills. There's a reason why they didn't try, because the greater possibility was medical exemption. There's no rape kit. There were no criminal.
Dude, wait. No, he is saying it's a fucking hoax. He's saying that everyone's, that this is not real. Like this story never happened. He's saying there's no rape kit.
Charges. Not
that is
now.
not what he's saying. He blatantly said, this is not what I'm saying. In the very beginning, he said, I'm not saying this. Here go Hasan. He's saying this is made up. He's saying it didn't happen. No. He's saying that the story is presented in such a way in order to influence the rest of the society or the citizens to see things and vote a certain way.
Oh, why didn't anyone?
And I can see that report this.
Yeah. Dude, I'm sorry. You said it was a fucking hoax. And even if he doesn't.
Hasan is such a nincompoop. He plays the clip of Tim Pool blatantly saying, I'm not saying this is made up. I'm not saying this. And you still present it as such.
Trip up in that conversation, even if he uses very carefully the words to show you what he actually means, we can clip it out of context and then claim that it's something that he doesn't mean. And then like repeating it over and over and over again. If like you are just now noticing how people...
Like you just tried to do?
People do this, it's because you haven't been in these circles. Do you ever stop talking? No, brother, I'm a Twitch streamer. This is what I do.
I gotta step my game up on Twitch though. It seems like most people watch me on YouTube. I shouldn't let that deter me or stop me from still trying to get on Twitch and do my thing. And we'll figure it out. I think Hasan is one of the most nastiest grifters of all time. To try to flip what Tim Pool said like that and blatantly lie on him after the clip is him saying he didn't say that is nuts. But of course, wokies are going to just ride with whatever Hasan is saying. That's just my opinion. Tell me what yours is down in the comment section. Hit the like button, share the video as well. And check out the video I dropped yesterday. I'm trying to stay on this whole new video everyday thing on my main channel. So make sure that you check out the new videos that's going to drop probably at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. I'm going to see how long I could do that. Just one video. I'm not going to go crazy. Check out my other channel, BX Beast Boy Extra, to see all the extra stuff.